Mexico Alive.
Yep. Hi. We're here. I survived Mexico, and we are in some new-looking area, a new subdivision. Look at this cool thing over here. Very Adobe-style homes. This is a very different-looking area than we were in last time. So
very staged looking, you know.
Yeah,
like
it does look
cookie-cutter.
staged. It looks like it's
Cookie-cutter.
from a movie set or something. Anyhow, so this is our road trip through Mexico. This is Joe and Kelly Vandelos. Let me turn it around so you see me. And you see all of my car completely packed. A lot of problems, spotty internet. We were unable to. We were unable to keep a connection as we were going through.
You have to have a sense of humor traveling 21 hours with my wife.
Yeah, 21 hours. It has been a road trip of 21 hours and 19 minutes.
And 29 seconds.
And 29 seconds.
And we've traveled. Let's see how many miles. We've traveled 1,142.7 miles to this point. That is from Puerto Morelos, which is,
and we went through Cancun around.
Which is adjacent to Cancun. So if you're familiar with Cancun, it's adjacent to Cancun and Playa del Carmen. It's actually in the middle.
Right.
So now I gotta get out my pesos.
We're paying our it's for a quarter road. It's a tow.
What goes?
47.
It's not 40.
So we're paying our toll, and the toll roads are the last road because they're kept very, very well. They're taken care of well. There's a lot of traffic on them, as you can see. There's a lot of trucks because the roads are kept a little bit better.
Very good.
But we've been actually that was good.
It's been a non-stop road trip.
This is a non-stop 30-hour road trip with the Bandalai.
Okay.
So it's been wild. But you know what I wanted to do? I really was going to keep it live the whole time, but I was unable to do that because of the spotty internet. So I wanted to go live when I could go live and show you the different terrains. Like, for example, like this area. It's very arid. We went through a sort of an arid...
Excuse me, is that burnt right there?
Is that what?
Is that burnt? Because you know how they burn the...
Oh yeah, they do burn. Yeah, sometimes they burn the ground to get rid of snakes. It drives out snakes and certain kinds of dangerous scorpions and spiders and stuff. So they'll burn the ground and prepare it to start to plant something. I don't know what they're planting around here. But you can see there's a lot of cactuses here. There's a lot of mixed things here. This is a very mixed, arid climate. I don't see any palm trees here, but I'll bet there are palm trees here that can be kept here because it's extremely dry. It's not not tropical here. It's very deserty here. Yeah, no, that was just tilled over, but I think the other one was actually burned, scorched. Like that one looks like it was scorched. So you'll see that like there's grass. What they do is they set that grassland on fire, and it drives out all of the snakes and bad things that you don't want biting you when you're tilling the ground with your donkey and your hand tiller. So they do need to keep it's actually really good soil. It's got a lot of minerals in it.
That's only our direction, our map.
That's our map.
Our mobile map.
Yeah, our mobile map. So we're going through San Luis Potosí, which I know a lot of my art friends know that group, that area. That's really where a lot of artists go to paint. It's very pretty there. So this is just a really interesting area, and I'm very curious about the view that we saw when we were coming up, because it was like this perfect whitewashed. You know, seems like it was a movie set, really, because there's not much out here. This is a pretty
desolate
area. It's got very rocky terrain, but the dirt in between the rock is very good. I saw some of it.
Excuse me, it's a combination because this is
It is.
normally a lava base area, but if you look, this is rock here. That's
Okay, we're back again. So this is Kelly Bandelos with I Survived Mexico again, and I wanted to kind of talk about the things that we'd like to do with I Survived Mexico. We've lived in Mexico. I think we're back on. Yeah, we are. Okay. So, as I was saying about I Survived Mexico, and that we've been working on for several years now. We're going to be doing several things to promote the concept, and our concept is a different kind of sense of humor. We thought it was funny when people would say, "Oh, it's so dangerous to live in Mexico," and I'm sure there's dangerous places in Mexico, but there's dangerous places in the United States as well, probably more dangerous these days. And so we kind of looked at it like it's such a beautiful place. We just wanted to show it to people and let people see how pretty it is here, and the beauty and the great events you can do, and great events next year that kind of Mexico, the United States understanding it, and English-speaking countries really understanding it.
Now, you have to give them your story about how we came to Mexico 6.5 years ago.
Which is when
I
didn't want to go.
Right, you didn't want to go.
So
we were pursuing Belize.
Actually, we were living in Mexico, and we had some business to do, and we were
living in Mexico.
No, we were living in Hawaii, and we had business to do in Belize.
Interested in moving to Belize.
We were getting ready to move to Belize, and we looked in Belize, and not an easy place to live. You know, we couldn't really find. It was very third world, very
beautiful nature, very natural,
beautiful
nature.
It's a beautiful place, but it's not
very little culture.
It needs some help, and that's the thing we'd like to do also. But it needs its own brand, and just telling people to go to live in Belize isn't what it needs to do. It needs to really improve its roads and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a beautiful location. It's 100% English speaking. There's a lot of expats that live there, like around on the islands that are off of Belize City. But you know, it's got its own issues. So we were trying to find a place to live. So we were on the border.
An acquaintance of mine had.
We were on the border town between Mexico and Belize. What is that called?
Curacao.
And we were looking for a place to live there, and it was rough. Boy, it was just not. I was trying to figure it out. So we had a friend in Mexico that was living in Tulum, and he said, "I think you should come.
Just visit.
Visit me."
He didn't even think we should live there. He just wanted us to visit.
That's right. He didn't say anything about living there. He just said, "Come and visit us."
For 4 days.
So we went there and we stayed at his place for 4 days, and he showed us around. And in 4 days, we found a place to move to. Now, when I was when I was going to go to Mexico, we had our son with us, and I said, "I'm not taking my son into Mexico. That's very dangerous. I'm not going to Mexico." And our friend said, "No, it's okay. You'll be fine. You're going to send you around."
You have to fill in the gaps, because first you said,
I'm not going to Mexico.
I'm not going to Mexico because I'm not moving to Mexico.
Right.
And I agreed with you. I said, we will not move to Mexico. I said, Tulum and Chetumal is on the border of Curacao. Curacao being in Mexico, they're bordering towns. So we said, you know, a lot of people. Okay. So we're going to get back to.
Okay, back to our story about
how we got sucked into Mexico.
So Mexico, I said absolutely not.
Nixnay on the Mexico show. And matter of fact, you refused to even visit Mexico, and you said to me, "I refuse to visit Mexico because I do not want to live in Mexico." Right. And I agreed with you. I said, Tulum was 3 hours from the place that we wanted, which was the borderline of
Mexico
of Belize.
Coruscant and Chantol.
Right.
So
we drove the 3 hours.
And it was a very quiet road, that road. And that's when we met our first tope.
We met our first tope. Us and the tope in a car rental.
We launched, and Julian
Did
hit the roof.
Did you know you can actually get a Chevy Avino to go off the ground about
2 feet?
About 2 feet. If you hit the tope at the right speed, you can really get.
You got air.
You got air. And air means all 4 tires off the ground.
Oh yeah, we got some air. That was not funny. And then he was in total panic mode. So that every time there was a total panic because he was like holding himself from hitting this.
I survived Mexico and the topes.
So anyhow, so we went to Tulum, and honestly, at the time that we went to Tulum, which was 7 years ago,
7 years. No, 7. You're right. 7 years ago. Last month.
Yeah. Tulum was a little rough. So if anybody's been to Tulum within the last year or so...
Hold on. Let's explain
really
rough. My wife means rough.
Like this.
Not hostile
like
rough.
No,
My wife means rough living-wise.
Yeah.
When we don't have all the accommodations of, like the Four Seasons Hotel. When it doesn't have, then it's rough to her.
I'm not that way.
Okay.
I just want to have like a washing machine and a dryer. There is no dishwasher.
And Costco and Sam's Club.
Macy's, but they don't have Macy's.
Well, they were just starting to develop these stores and locations, and it was
but
Tulum
was still very hippie-ish, and those people who've been to Tulum know what I'm talking about. It's very
quaint.
It was very small, and the beach area was super small. So it's not like it is now. It's been very developed in the last couple of years, almost too developed maybe, but it's nice. It's a nice place to go visit. I said, it's nice, but I don't think I could live here. And then our friend said, let me take you into
Puerto
Aventuras and Playa.
And Playa Car.
So I think the first place we went was Playa Car.
Negative. We toured through Puerto first, Puerto Aventuras, and then we came out and we went to Playa Car.
So Puerto Aventuras, where we ended up living, is a place
it's an expat community,
and it has where you dock your boat, like it's has boat slips all around it, so it's a little.
It's probably the largest boat slip area in the whole
area.
Region,
private boating, that is. Well, now Cancun, that Cancun place.
Puerto Cancun
now is making it a place where you can, because there's a lot of people that come to the area who maybe they live in Florida, and they take their boat across and then they stay here. And there's a lot of fishing competitions in the area, so they bring their vessels over and they do all this sword fishing and stuff. So that was out of Puerto Aventuras, and I love water, so that was like a beautiful place for me to live, and I love that. But we did go into Playa Car. Playa Car.
And into Puerto Aventuras first.
Yeah, and Playa. Hold on, it's still thinking. Hold on.
Is it on?
I can't see it.
You want my glasses?
Yeah, it's still talking. Okay, let's still
go.
Okay, so Playa Car is very nice. Beautiful homes, and
it's upscale.
It is upscale, but it's
so
also
very
busy. There's something about Puerto Aventuras that I like because it was sort of removed from the busyness of the city. But here's the thing: if you want to go shopping, you had to go into Playa
del Carmen.
Playa del Carmen. So,
which we call short for Playa.
So you are taking that 15 to 20 minute trip into Playa all the time, and that's frustrating after a while. And I was going there almost every day, and once a week maybe I'd go into Cancun to go to Costco and go shopping, because we do have a Sam's Club in Playa del Carmen, and we also have City Club, which is the Mexican version of Sam's Club. So we belong to those ones as well, and there you get different things from different places.
Right.
So there's
Really,
some really
very
great.
different.
Really different. So there's really great local commodities that you would get in City Club that are good, that you really want to get there. And then there's other places. All the expats basically go to the same sources, Paxadelli and Dax and all that, to get your basic things that we know, things that we know, that you would.
They're local stores, they're local grocery store, call it a grocery store, that imports.
Right.
So these are importing grocery stores, and those are probably the two main importing grocery stores for a lot of expat items that you would like to get out of the States or even Japan. There's a lot of Asian, they carry a lot of Asian items.
Yeah. Because we like a lot of Asian things, and I like to make, certain Thai food and stuff, because we just like sushi and all that kind of stuff. So, it's important to, when you move to a place, you got to find your sources, you got to find your resources. So I really think it took me about 3 to 4 years to find all the things I needed to find, even to make things like stuffing for Thanksgiving, just to get a turkey at first. Then turkey started to be more readily available, but that first 2 years we were there, acquiring a turkey is a little tricky.
And then knowing where to acquire
where to get it. You have to make your own stuffing, which is fine, and that's in our family. Okay, and you're on. Okay, say that again.
But the speed limit
We're just
is
talking about the speed limit.
intense. I mean, I like speed and I can move quick, but you want to know something? You would think there would be a lot of accidents and things like that because of this. Well, I just saw one, but besides that, it was a tractor trailer that went over the side. So I don't think it was his. It was because he was speeding. So the speed really, I don't think had too much to do with it. But I'm mentioning the speed because they do drive fast, but when you look at them, they're more alert, but their speeds are very good. I'm doing 64, but Samsung. This looks like
what that is. There's a lot of food processing done here also. So
forever. Whatever that is.
Yeah. So you can see, and people are constantly, here's a construction site, and people are constantly building in Mexico. Mexico is a crazy.
If you look around, you don't see a lot of houses, so you think to yourself,
what are they building?
These factories must have a few thousands of people, and they don't look like that there's thousands of homes. So my question would be, where's everybody
living? So that is kind of the thing that's going on, and believe it or not, I know in the United States we talk about Mexicans going into the United States, but there's so many jobs here in Mexico now, more than there ever was before. So maybe people better jobs. I really don't know.
And by the way, when I said that I was doing 73 earlier, the speed limit, that's because the speed limit was 70. So
a 911 telephone for emergencies. Wow.
Right, they just started that. Did you know that?
No, I that's what I'm saying. Wow, look at that, because
they just started that.
They don't, there's a lot of things that aren't here so very, very quickly.
They're incorporating a lot of things.
Yeah.
In the States as well,
Look at all the cactuses. My gosh. And they eat cactus here too, those big flat ones that are like flat like a plate. They take off the needles and they take off the skin and they fry them.
Yeah.
Big giant huge train.
And here's a train.
Just a huge train. I don't think I've seen a train before here.
First train system I've seen in Mexico.
I know, I've never seen that before. So this is what I'm saying. A lot of things are happening.
They do a lot of trucking here, a lot, and a lot of tandem, as we showed you earlier.
Yeah.
A lot of tandem trucking. A lot.
So one of the things that says to kind of talk about Mexico is to really show people, Americans, and in the United States, we've been in the United States for the last 6 months, and off in Mexico. And yeah, there's bad stuff in Mexico, but there's a lot of bad stuff in Chicago. There's a
lot of bad stuff in the
Just,
United
yes,
States.
you told me yesterday you just
Yeah,
heard
somebody with some shooting in Texas,
God,
San
this is-
Antonio. So, you
Yes.
know, I think it's all relative, and I think that, you know, the Mexican bad guy image is just being manipulated. And, you know, I can tell you that, you know, the move that we just made, we couldn't have done it without our very close Mexican friends. And they're not bad, they're amazing. They're all great people. They work hard.
You can announce the names.
Oh. But also, Oscar and Minerva, who have been amazing friends, and they helped us so much. But also Marcos and
Absolutely.
the guys over
And Picus and
and
Jose.
Picus and Jose. So it's just gearing up. Yes, bear with us. Okay. I'm sorry, but our signal just keeps going in and out. So bear with us if you can. But I really appreciate that you're watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. You know, I'm watching the screen. You can always type in a question like, gee, what's the temperature, or whatever you want to know. If you're interested in learning stuff about Mexico.
Yeah, I'm unsure if this is a roadblock or what, so
Yeah, so
I'm
we
trying
don't-
to sleep.
I think they're probably doing road work.
construction, road work, something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
because we go through a lot of security checks through here. You know, I don't really know. There's a lot of federales that have security checks. They're looking for the drugs that are moving through the country, through Mexico from Colombia. And they seem to always know her. So it's not like they're looking, they certainly don't care about gringos too much because, you know, we kind of bring the tourism dollars to them. So they like
We
the
have no
gringos.
interest in
Yeah,
the drugs.
we aren't in drug, you know, the drug cartel thing. We're not interested in that. And so just if you stay out of that kind of thing, you're good. That's all I'm going to say about that. And if you're coming to Mexico to relax and have a sleep, great. That's a beautiful place to be. I'm not really fond of it in the summertime too much. It's like, I always say to people, it's like the surface of the sun here. But it's absolutely fantastic in these.
If you like heat, this is a great place.
Right. My husband likes to eat. But I really am not fond of it. It's in November, all the way up until
March.
through the spring. Even, I mean,
Sometimes
even this, being here in May wasn't that bad.
No, it
It
wasn't.
really wasn't very bad because we've had years where it was really not very nice at that time of year. So, but it was really nice this time. So, but I really want to thank the people that were helping us on our packing up trip this tour. We really had a great time, and you know, I can't say enough about, you know, the hardworking good Mexicans in this country. So whenever people talk about, you know, good Mexicans, bad Mexicans, I don't know. We don't have such a negative experience in that way.
It's the same as
Anymore
anywhere you go.
than we had in the United States.
Any more or less than right.
Right. But what I can say, and I will say emphatically, is that nobody outworks these people. And I will say that to the ends of my days. There is nobody who outworks them. They
Except your
physically work.
husband.
Yeah, that's true. Physically work harder than anybody I know, and they just work until it's done. And you just can't compare that because it's not the same way in the United States. You know, everybody wants benefits and overtime, and these people just want to work. They just want to work and make money. That's all they care about. It's just working, and you tell me what I need to do and I'll do it. And that's great. You know, nobody's looking to take advantage of anybody. I think we paid our people very well, actually, quite well.
Yeah.
More than most, because we feel like, okay, well, they're doing such good work, and their loyalty is true, very true. They're very loyal people.
Depends who you're dealing with. Again, going back to the
Oh
same.
yeah, sure.
Depends who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Because, but
Yeah.
you know, the point is that people are just people. It doesn't
Right.
matter where you're from.
That
You're
would
gonna
be
have
a
the
good
same.
point.
That's the bottom line. People are people.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you're from. If you're going to be cautious with people, be cautious with all of them. It
Right.
doesn't matter what region.
That's right. That's right.
when you say that they're hard workers, they do have let's put it this way, they have a different work ethic and a different work mentality. Very different, so.
They just work hard. And they're good, they're amazing family people. Another thing that really struck me when I moved to Mexico several years ago is that the moms don't have baby strollers. They don't do baby strollers. Maybe the moms who are the more upper class moms do baby strollers. But when we first moved here, we were noticing that people didn't have babies. They carried their baby. Everybody carried their baby. And they had like little papooses that they would wear, or the wrap around the baby and the mom. Or the mom's just carrying the baby. She's just carrying the baby. Sorry. Yeah, a little interlude. So and as much as maybe people would say that they don't have much, and I've seen whole families living in like a one-room place, you want to know something? They are very close with their families, and the grandmas live with them, and there is no adult homes here because the parents come home and they live with their kids and they help raise their kids, and then they go out to work and grandma and grandpa take care of the kids. It's like such a simple traditional relationship that's gone on for centuries, and it's still very, very strong here in certain ways. Obviously there's a more upper class family. Mom and dad both want to go